Following the hunt for the Dragon Balls, Goku made a quick pit stop at home before heading to the Hermit's hideaway. The funniest part of this whole thing for me is just the reality that Goku has had that bum mentality for his whole life. Fella really made a pit stop at home just to pick up a futon and a set of pajamas. Didn't even eat because he was planning on running up wilt numbers on Roshi's Gosu bill when he made it to the island. 100% that friend who hits you up telling you he's down bad and needs a place to stay for a few days and then doesn't go back home until it's 4 months later and you went broke taking care of him and you're about to get evicted. With futon in tow, Goku rode the Kunta and landed on OVO Island ready to get his lesson in roundhouse kicks from Big Roshi. When he arrives, Roshi is nostril deep against his TV set in the middle of a hands-free gooning sesh watching some workout videos. Unable to get his attention after busting in the front door, Goku folds up his diaphragm and yells directly into Roshi's eardrum, letting him know that he's here and he's hungry. Determined not to interrupt his tantric training, Roshi tells Goku to just run into the kitchen and help himself. Biggest mistake he ever made in his life. The moment Goku figured out what he was looking at, he proceeded to eat the box faster than a corn hub casting couch audition, raw meat in the hall, but he even hammered down raw sticks of butter. After his edge training was complete, Roshi walks into his kitchen to see his guests just wolf down a week's worth of groceries. His post-buzz clarity hadn't kicked in quite yet, so he was wondering just what the hell Goku was doing there anyway. Then he remembered he offered to train the kid all the way back during the fry pan nonsense after he extinguished the mountain with the Biden blast and Goku was here now to cash that check. Goku's first lesson from Roshi was that everything comes with a cost, and the Hermit informed Goku that he would be unable to proceed with his training until Goku brought him a baddie to spend some time with on the island. It was the only way to boost the chi he had been storing from his 90 years of semen retention, and training was a non-starter until that box had been checked off. But not just any girl would do. Roshi considered himself a man of culture, so no grandmas, no ironing boards. He needed a lady with some size, preferably something nice and thicker than a telenovela plotline. Goku, not even remotely computing what Roshi was putting down because he just doesn't see the fair sex in that way whatsoever, expressed his confusion visibly and verbally. Roshi, realizing that a pretty lady wasn't the only dense thing they had come upon the island that day, said screw it and told Goku to just use his common sense when picking up a pretty lady and to make sure he didn't bring his nappy ass back without one. So with his orders from his would-be master, Goku got back on his cloud to find a lady who would be up for the old master's conjugal visit. A part of me genuinely wonders what Goku was telling these girls he was bringing back to OVO headquarters, because we know the kid can't lie with the damn. Hey, this old guy I know said he won't teach me how to throw hands till I find at least a 7 out of 10 that's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal to give him free prostate checkups on a secluded island with no cell service or internet. You mind popping on Magic Cloud to see if you make the cut? Gotta be real, any lady that says yes to that ain't the kind you should be leaving your wallet alone with and sleeping next to anyway, but what do I know? Anyway, as Goku is out scouring the earth trying to find a lady to take back to Roshi to spit on that thing, Roshi hits the closet, finds his cleanest Steve Harvey suit, and starts curating the Spotify playlist, making sure it's full of enough Ray J, Trey songs, and Babyface to keep the mood alive while he works his magic. And right as he finds his finest bottle of cognac, he hears a sound outside his door. Goku was back with his peachy girl at last. Popping a blue chew and ready to face the music, Roshi went to his front door to find Goku had indeed brought back a real thickums. But Roshi ain't Jamaican enough and backed down from the challenge, leaving both Goku and the beautiful young lady confused as to why he just wasted both of their time. Roshi had Goku take his bowl of oatmeal back to the mainland, then when he returned, sat Goku down in his study for a long talk, deeply questioning the boy's baddie radar. To confirm, he sat the young fella down with a magazine and asked him which of these young ladies you would rather enjoy a nice glass of soda and a stroll on the island with. Goku took far longer to answer than the Hermit would have liked, so he made himself clear with zero subtlety. Bring me back a lady that looks like this one, and your training ain't beginning until that job's done. Afraid that Commander Goku would bring back a grenade directly into his midst, Roshi hid as he saw the cloud descend from the sky again. To Roshi's surprise though, it appeared that pep talk paid off, and upon Goku's cloud sat a blue-haired maiden with some ballistics that would have made Louise from Resident Evil 4 proud.
Well, I see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics too.
Part 1 of the plan was complete. Now for part 2. Roshi called for Goku to encourage him, letting him know the boy's cranium may not be as thick as it looks, but the first training exercise was far from over. Now that the lady was here, Goku must proceed with step 2, quite literally taking the girl out of her panties. Man, what, bro, who taught this fellow Roshi how to communicate with women, man? In what world are you just into a girl and 10 seconds into the convo you go, by the way, what's your name, man? You mind taking off your Calvin Klein so Grandpappy can get a big old whiff? The more this man talks, the more I see just why the feds got him isolated in the farthest reaches of the Pacific. Goku, continuing to be as lost as ever, asked the old fellow what the hell panties even are. Then man's like Roshi tells him, don't worry about it, kid. She'll know if you just go up and ask her. Absolute sicko. None the wiser, he sends Goku right up to the young lass, and a few seconds later he comes bearing a message. The young girl is only wearing a top with nothing down below. It takes everything the old man has to not explode in his trousers, but emboldened after feeling like he finally found a girl to match his freak, he decides to be the father that stepped up and makes his way to the cloud. As he inches closer though, he faints when he sees that Goku managed to somehow find it easier to bring a real-life mermaid back to his crib than a young lady in his parameters that'll give him the time of day. But Roshi, being absolutely as freaked out as he is, decides that, hey, while the bottom half might be fish, the top sure ain't, and begins to shoot his shot, asking the lady if she wouldn't mind if he grabbed a handful of something strange since they both found themselves standing across from one another looking pretty anyway. I feel like I say this in every scene involving Roshi, but come on, man. Who taught this dude? Dude got that sex pest riz, but Miss Mermaid wasn't having it. Being the dignified lady she is, she gave Roshi some CTE for the road and returned to the sea to tell Namor all about the experience. As Roshi contemplated other ways to make women uncomfortable while his moral compass turtle was out on sabbatical again, Goku looked upon the water and saw a boat heading their way. Taking the helm was a 3'7" leprechaun in monk's clothes who, after making his way about a good 30 feet from the island, put his Crocs into performance mode and hopped directly in front of Goku and Roshi. This feat of athleticism would have been quite impressive if he hadn't botched the landing, ending up face first in a pile of wet beach sand, requiring Goku to pull him up as Roshi tried his best to figure out why the circus picked today of all days to show up at his tiny home. The strangely built boy with the glowing cranium revealed that his name was Krillin, and he was approaching Master Muten Roshi-sama with one purpose. He sailed his way all the way from his remote village in the Far East to be trained in martial arts by the legend himself. Roshi seemed impressed by the boy's seriousness in coming all that way, but the only problem was he already agreed to take in one weirdo who was proven to be way more than a handful, so the idea of taking in another Oompa Loompa to house and feed held very little appeal for him. But what Roshi had not anticipated was this most recent disciple had done his homework. Krillin knew of the lecherous old master's ways, and as a result, came bearing gifts. Out of his knapsack, he pulled out a copy of Glazed Booty Butt Cheeks magazine as an offering to the hermit. In quick fashion, it was accepted, with Roshi poring over his pages with the fervent enthusiasm of a scholar in the Library of Alexandria. This was a solid first step into the road of acceptance. But as we know, Roshi's skills come at a price, so he gave Krillin the same mission he thrust upon Goku earlier. Find me a girl who doesn't mind a 300-year-old man with no common sense and who permanently smells of icy hot, and your training may begin. Krillin, ever the attentive student, convened with the master yet again, verifying exactly the type of girl he may be looking for by whispering in his ear the proposed criteria. Just hearing Krillin's words made the old man blush. It seems he was well aware of his type. Krillin also did not hesitate to scope out the competition, finally acknowledging Goku and asking him if he was a disciple of the great master. Krillin seemed unimpressed, remarking that someone as small with as much baby fat on him as Goku didn't exactly strike him as a martial artist. Man, if this ain't the pot calling the kettle, I don't know what is. They're basically twins. Krillin out here built like a thwomp from Super Mario, balder than a newborn baby's cheeks, and all the muscle definition of an 80s sitcom's housewife, and trying to put my goat on for not looking like a martial artist? The absolute nerve of some people, bro, I tell you. But Goku took it in stride, and replied by telling Krillin that his head looked like a polished pachinko ball, and that's all it took to set little Napoleon off. And I honestly feel it because there's something about getting cooked up by Goku that's worse than taking an L from anyone else. That dude don't have a malicious bone in his body, so when he says something that cuts like a knife, it just comes out so easy that not only do you get roasted, but you get caught off guard by it as well, and that's like a 2x multiplier on the psychic damage. But it was time for the boys to move. Now that the introductions were out of the way, Krillin and Goku were to head out in the Nimbus to once again find their master woman, capable of putting up with him for the 5 minutes it would take for him to get a glimpse of nipple and pass out. Complications arose though when Goku offered Vin Diesel a ride aboard his cloud, and he fell through like a bad check. Seeing this, Roshi immediately came to know the boy's intentions were less than pure, and it was time to make him come clean. Here's another moment where we see some of the differences between the dubbed version of Dragon Ball and the manga. In the animated version, Krillin's secret turns out that he was hiding a ton more dirty mags that he was planning on hiding from Roshi until bribery was needed. So after getting exposed, he gives up his whole stash, then he's able to jump aboard the Nimbus. In the manga version though, the knowledge he's holding back that makes his heart impure is the fact that he isn't coming to Roshi to learn to throw hands or for the love of the game. He wants to learn to fight to increase his chances of picking up a baddie, since weirdly enough where he's from, they don't seem to be into 3-foot-tall dudes with no neck and no hairline. Krillin fessing up, he meets the requirements necessary to come aboard the Nimbus, and he and Goku ride off to the city to find their master and escort. While riding, Krillin begins to learn how severe Goku's lack of home training actually is. As they make their way back to civilization, Goku points down to the first human being he sees and asks if they fit the bill for what Roshi's looking for. The camera moves into Steve Harvey in a straw hat. The look Krillin gave Goku could have melted the polarized cabs. Eventually, Charles Xavier fixes his face enough to speak up and ask Goku if he's actually serious right now, because that's a whole entire man. Goku looks behind him shocked, bewildered at this skill his new friend seems to possess. You mean you could somehow tell if somebody has a PP on sight? The thought of it genuinely blew his mind. Krill didn't even know where to start, clarifying for the record that what Goku was saying is that he somehow couldn't. Goku kind of perked up a bit, beaming with pride, letting him know that now that he was a little more well-traveled, he found his own method of figuring out the mystery of girls and guys, telling Krill that if he gives him a quick pat-pat on the no-nos, his batting average has become second to none. A tense silence filled the air until Krillin finally spoke up. Hey, look, bro, I'm just telling you right now that I'm all dude, so there'll be no need to put your hidden technique to the test. And here, with Goku's pride and Krillin's pain, is where we'll call it. Tune in next time, homies, as Goku and Krillin have a chance meeting with a young lady who appears to be just Roshi's type. Will she be willing to accompany the boys back to the island so training can begin? Or will the secret the mystery beauty is holding on to jeopardize more than just their training opportunity? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all. Catch you again in the next video.